basically 19 applicants from your company filed charges or complaints against ISA for large-scale illegal recruitment and syndicated startup. What's your reaction about this, sir?
Well, first of all, it's an illegal entrapment that we had to actually go through. We're not illegal recruiters. We've already had a court case with the KAYE over this. We have an actual document that will show that we are not illegal recruiters because we do not send migrant workers overseas. What we do is we send students overseas, and that's what we do. So the case brought against us, which is only at the preliminary stages of this stage, it's for preliminary consideration or whatever. It's not a case at this moment in time, and we refute it. That means we refuse to accept this at all. It's not true. We're not illegal recruiters, and that is completely false.
Another question, sir, is that we've already interviewed some of the applicants or the complainants, and they said that ISA has been promising them that when they go to UK, they will be paid. They will be paid for this on-the-job training, and ISA will be the one to look for establishments or company that they can do their on-the-job training. So what's the truth about this matter, sir?
Well, first of all, we're not involved in any finding jobs in this country. That is not our responsibility. We have a UK company whose responsibility, as part of our commitment to the universities and colleges, to find a on-the-job training or work placement, as it's called in the UK. It's actually obligatory, it's not voluntary. This is the mistake that's being made. We have to find a work placement or on-the-job training in order for the students to be able to complete their course. Our UK company has always found the students a work placement or on-the-job training in the UK, and it's done every time. So from the point of view of the complaints being made there, first of all of these students are still here in the Philippines, so they wouldn't know because they haven't actually gone there. But there are 1,500 other students in the UK right now who've gone through ISA in the last 2 years, all of whom are studying at university or colleges, and all of whom have had work placements arranged for them. It's a very important part, and an understanding of this is very important, that a student has to have the work placement in order to be able to complete the course. If they don't have a work placement, they would not be able to actually undertake the course and therefore complete it and graduate. So this isn't, as I said at the beginning, this isn't voluntary, this is obligatory. So it's not a matter of whether we will find them or promise to find them. We have to, we don't have a choice. But that is done by the UK company in the UK as part of our commitment in writing legally with the agreements we have with universities and colleges.
And sir, what about, what's your sentiments about those applicants who are experiencing physiological sufferings from the debts they're paying, from the money they've borrowed from their families?
My heart goes out to them. You know, do you honestly think, anybody who's logical, who would think about this, do you really think we want to keep students in this country? Of course we don't, but we have a process. We have a process where when somebody decides they don't wish to go any further, they have to go through that withdrawal or refund process. And that takes time, and it's an ongoing situation. It happens with us all the time, but we can't let people bully us, if I can use that word, because there are other people with equally as strong reasons for needing to have that money back. And we're paying back people every day of the week. But it's a process, and we cannot allow ourselves to find that we are, if you like, engaging with one group of students so that they get their money back quicker because they're using illegal entrapment cases against us. I mean, I have another question to put back to these same people. What about the psychological results that my staff have suffered? You know, my cleaning staff, my security, messengers, all of our staff that were wrapped up in this illegal entrapment that was undertaken 2 weeks ago and taken and put and held for 2 or 3 days. I mean, some of them have left the company, they can't take it anymore. Some of them are going to have psychological problems with this for a long time to come. I feel for my staff as well. Equally, I feel for the students who are suffering difficulties. But please understand, we don't even know what some of these students had to do, whether they had to borrow the money or they were given the money. You know, each person has their own case, and we do our best to help people, and we do it as quickly as we can. But we're no different to anybody else. There's a process that's involved, and we have to follow that process. We have no choice. And the real reason this has occurred, more than anything else, is because UK immigration law changed. There were significant delays. Those delays have affected everybody, and I know it's really hard for us here in the Philippines to accept this, but this isn't just in the Philippines, this is worldwide. There are thousands of students from different countries who are in the same predicament as the students here. They've done the same thing and they're having to wait for their money to come back. We have to put a case back to the colleges in the UK as to why someone is withdrawing or refunding their money. We then have to wait to get our money back from the UK. And this is something that we do. And what we do is when we get it back and we've sorted it out, we pay the student. And that's what we do as well. In addition to that, we've helped literally hundreds of students by helping them not to go into default. Where we've been aware of loans, we've advanced money to the finance companies. We've done everything we can, but we're no different to any other company. At the end of the day, we can only do what we can at this moment in time, and we're doing the best we can. And what I can say is they'll all get their money back. That's what we've done with everybody else, and in the 10 years I've been involved in the Philippines, we've never let anybody down from your end.
Basically, do you think that there's a misrepresentation about your company? Because some of the students are expecting that when they go there, they will have a job, or they will just study for a day, for once a month, and the rest of the time they will have their job.
Well, absolutely. I mean, first of all, if any of my staff, if I found them they were saying something like that, I would be dismissing them. Because that's not true. It's not what we tell people, it's not what we show people. We have a PowerPoint presentation that you can actually look at, which explains every element of the whole process from beginning to end. And we constantly remind every student they're going as a student, and that the OJT, or the work placement, is secondary. But at the same time, we understand that that is the part that encourages students to come forward, who otherwise, unless they were very rich, would not be able to take part of it. So the great thing about this program is it allows students who otherwise could not consider studying in the UK to be able to study, to gain an internationally recognised degree, and at the same time finance themselves, because they're going to be receiving payment for the OJT, because that's the difference. It doesn't happen here in the Philippines, but it happens in the UK. So from that point of view, it's really important to understand that this is there to help students, in order to encourage students to come to the UK legally and correctly, and to be able to be paid for the work they actually do. We're not into slavery anymore in the UK. People get paid for what they do. So, this is a really good opportunity. As to whether they're being encouraged, as I say, it is a difficult one, because we know that many students would be unable to even consider this program without the possibility or the opportunity of being able to be paid for the on-the-job training they do. But is that a bad thing? I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. It's helping hundreds of students. Why is it we have 1,500 students with visas in the UK right now? Why is it I have 22 of those students graduating today from Anglo-Ruskin University, and who are sending emails saying how upset they are about what they're hearing about ISA or ISA? I mean, there's two sides to every story. Sadly, these particular students, I feel, are misinformed. I don't feel that they are truly really aware of all the benefits that would have been available to them, and I think they've been influenced by outside parties. But that's just my opinion, and I think I can have my own opinion. But the fact is, my heart goes out to them. I know they need that money back, and honestly, if we could get that money back to them quicker, we would. But it's a process we have to follow, and eventually we'll all get their money back in due time, in due process. And that's what we'll be doing for any of these students.
So, sir, any last words that you want to tell everyone who will be watching this program regarding ISA?
Well, I'd like them to look at the merits of the situation. Check the facts out themselves. We can show people, I think you've probably seen them, how many visas we've had issued, how many people have gone to the UK, how it's changed people's lives, how many of them have been able to take their dependents to the UK, and how they're now going on to their second stage of their learning cycle, or in fact now going on to the Tier 1 post-study working visa, which is an opportunity for 2 more years in the UK. To understand if they were to try to do this themselves, it would cost them more for 1 year than we charge for 2 years, that we've negotiated extremely good terms for them, that we actually make sure they have good accommodation, that they have in the UK, we don't do it here, but in the UK, we arrange their on-the-job training, their work placements for them, with recognised, reputable employers there who will look after them and make sure that they're also studying. One of the things we haven't mentioned is there's a learner agreement. Every student, when they get to the UK, signs a learner agreement. And that's between the college or university, that's between us and with their on-the-job training provider. So all of us know what's happening, so they know when they're allowed to, when they have to study, when they're allowed to work, how many hours, etc., etc. So everything is done in a correct way. And, you know, I don't want us to be judged on 19 students who've got together on, in my mind, and what we believe is the facts, an entrapment that should never have allowed 34 of my staff to end up at Camp KAYE or whatever it is. You know, it's wrong. It's totally wrong. It's unjust, it's illegal, and we're going to be fighting this all the way. We're doing that through the courts in a legal way. And what I hope is not going to happen is that we're going to be a trial by TV. Because obviously these students have a genuine concern, they're genuinely in hardships, I'm sure of that, and already a number of those students have come back to us and said no, they're quite happy not to withdraw their complaint against us. Now they've understood fully what we're trying to do. So, you know, that's all I can really say. At the end of the day, we're not illegal recruiters. We never have been, and we took advice at the beginning as to how to do this, and we genuinely try and help our students go to the UK, and we can prove that. So I just hope your viewers, those watching this, will actually understand that and not judge us by what a few people say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.